So, Davey, I'm sharing my screen with you. Let me know if you want. If
There's nothing. You can't see it.
you
Oh,
can't
there it
see.
is. Okay. Now I can. Okay, I'm recording.
Okay. See, this is the document that you sent me, right? When this is what I wanted you to do is in the Excel sheet, in the second tab, I had given you the business problem, and from there I want you to derive to business requirement and the functional requirement, right? But I think you did the requirement from here again. So what I did, here as you gave the business requirement and the functional requirement for these two scenarios, right? So here how you had written is in the under function requirement you clubbed everything together, right? In a single paragraph you were when you gave this document to me, it was everything in a single paragraph, right?
Yeah, that's because I want to clarify my mouse broke and I was in the
Oh,
car. My friend was driving because I was out of town and he was
okay.
driving the car and my mouse broke. And so I had actually two mice break. I mean, go
Yeah.
bad. So I was not able to. I'm used to using the mouse, so I just said, all right, let me quickly do it this way.
Yeah, so
I'll go back and make corrections. I'll go back and make the corrections.
yeah, I have sent you this document only where I have made this correction. So if you see here what I have done, I have already given the functional requirements, right? And what I feel is you have described the functional requirements. So what you do, this is my business requirement, right? This is my functional requirement. These are the three functional requirements. Wherein first functional requirement is the system shall display the longitude and latitude of the employee through GPS. Always when you write the functional requirement, you are writing it from a system point of view, right? You are not writing it from a user point of view. Obviously, you will give the user flow, but when you are writing yours, you are writing as though you are giving that capability in your system, right? So that's why if you see here, the system shall display the latitude and longitude through GPS. And how you are going to achieve that? You give a little bit of description here.
So the first part that was underlined is what you said up above. And then the second part, isn't that kind of what you said above anyway?
I didn't get you. Can you come again once again, Debbie?
I'm sorry. Okay, the sentence that is underlined, that's what you put above in the Excel spreadsheet, correct?
Yes. And what I did, whatever the thing that you have written as a functional requirement, I tried to, I took this as my functional mainly, and I took your description and I have put it. Your description was absolutely fine, but it was more of how you are going to achieve, but what you are going to achieve is this, and your description shows how you are going to achieve and what exactly you are going to achieve, right? As you have seen, like time, date, longitude, latitude, distance from other operational speed, how we are going to track it, right? So what I did like this. What I felt, what you have written is more description on what is going to means in a single paragraph. It is like if you give that thing to the stakeholders, okay, I think yeah, GPS two-way communication, date, time, latitude, longitude, distance from, I know this has to be done, tracking will be functional, right? But when I say first line, as the system shall display the latitude and longitude of the employee through GPS, and what are you going exactly to do there? This is how you should write the functional requirements.
Okay, so did you write how you would write it? And also you said not to put it in paragraph form. If I don't put it in paragraph form, you're saying that I should like put it in the Excel?
No.
Now that I have a map, what?
This is, yeah, because of how you had done is you have done this all these three things together in a single paragraph, right?
Yes. And I should have put that in Excel?
No, no, no. This is what, can you see how I have written here, and I just broke your paragraph into three requirements like this.
Okay. Compare what I wrote to what you wrote. Okay.
Yes, this is how you should write. So they will know, okay, this is my first functional requirement one, because in your description actually there are three or four, three requirements inside together. It means there when you read the description, it actually says about three requirements actually, what the description you have written, right? So break them up into like this so that we write the requirements in the SRS or the BRD like this. You got my point?
Yes. Can you put like in a, I know you said some of what I wrote is font or whatever, you know, like but could you, seeing that you've got years of experience, could you put in a different color or a different font, whichever you prefer, and put anything extra that you would put in there? Because sometimes if I just see what you write, it gives me a better idea of what really what's really needed. Sometimes, like, we have an expression, it says a picture is worth 1,000 words. So sometimes if I see an example, then it's a lot easier for me to understand what you're wanting.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I'm missing, you took what I wrote and you broke it up into three sections. I understand that.
Yes.
But is there something, if you were really doing this for a company, are there more things that you would add? Does that make sense?
Yes, so what I have done, I have sent you another document where you have asked this define system requirements, right? This document, here I have written how we write the business requirement and the system. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I started to look at that. Okay.
Yeah, so this is how we write in, this is one of the project that we have. So this is what our business requirement was. These things, right? What the user should be notified with an email on the order fulfillment, but when I am writing that for a system requirement, I would write rather the system should have a process that send out a system generated confirmation email to the user with the order details in the email once the order has been fulfilled. The email should be sent to the username provided by the user during registration. This is one example. Here is another one example, the first one. For an online shopping website, one of the business requirement is, when you give the business requirement will be, I need this ability, right? Or I need this feature, probably. They will talk more from a feature perspective. Provide an option for the customer to manage the credit card information. Either a same site, if you are storing it in the same site, or a link to a different system. If you are using a third party like PayPal or something, where you can use those and pay your bills, right? Or enter store your credit card information. So this is my business requirement basically. But now for this business requirement,
are you also saying instead of provider options, you would say provider features? Is that what you said? They normally call it features instead. You said something a minute ago.
What I said is, in the business requirement, we talk more from a feature perspective. I need this things solution, or I need this product. The system requirement, what we do, how we are going to do that. In order to get that feature, or in order to get that my business need, how I am going to implement that in my solution. That is what we call as system requirements. If you see here, this is a one-liner business requirement, right? Okay, provide an option for a customer to manage the credit card information, right? This is my business requirement. But when I'm writing the same thing for the system, how I have written, if you see here, the system should provide a button to, I have put in the bracket, it can be any name. We made it as manage billing info. If you think that you want to give different name or any other name, it can be there. This is the name of the button in the header of the order information page. Sorry, it should be confirmation page. Okay. The application shall display the billing information page on clicking on manage billing info button in this page. this is what you are going to do it in this page, right? So this is how you write a system requirement with the business requirement. I have sent this also to you. Those which I have marked in italics, I have written those, and these are your questions, right? What do you mean by defined systems? So be it examples, wherever you have asked example, I have taken the example and I have marked it in italics so that you know it has been written by me.
Yes, thank you so much.
And I sent it. Yeah. And what you do, Devi, you take this, now you got an example, right? So that's why I sent a mail. In the mail also, what you do, send this Excel sheet, right?
Yeah, I'm going to print it out and then go step by step and do it that way.
Yeah, so this is your tab 2, right? You took this one, but actually I wanted you to do for this because here I have already given you the example of functional requirement, but good that you have added the description, right? Here, similarly, here I have given you the business problem, right? Now you just know what are the business problem that user is having and what we need to do, right? Now
okay, so what you're wanting me to do on this homework or whatever, you're taking banking and e-commerce.
Yes.
And you gave the business problems for each.
Yes.
And you got small banking accounts. And what's C? What is C?
Which one? Okay, see, this is what currently we don't have and we want to have it, right? Currently I gave you.
So you want me to fill in C?
Yeah, so what I want you to do with this, now you got a thing from a real-time scenario. How a project comes. Everything comes with a business problem, then only we go to business requirement, then we define system requirements, right? And then we go for the implementation. Same thing you have to do. Now you got the business problem. Now what point you have to start? Now you need to know what are the business requirements. Now you need to know what are the system requirements. While doing business requirement, I want to do the models also.
Okay.
You got my point? What I want? I sent in the mail, but
yeah. I hope so. I'll look over all that.
Yeah.
And then right, if I'd gotten to look over it earlier today, then I'd be able to say yes, but I'll definitely know by tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. And yes, this is what you need to do. Basically to write the business requirements like this, or here how we have given you the business requirements, and you need to write the system requirements after you are done with business requirements, and while doing the business requirement, come up with try to do the models as well. So it will be a like of case study for you, starting from the beginning to the system requirements.
Okay.
All
right, I'll work on that.
Yeah, and if it's just a business problem, maybe if you think that okay, let's do it in the class wherein you will ask me the questions and get the requirement, we can do when you have a business problem. You will do your own homework, right? Okay, in the bank we can do this, that, right? You will search the other banks and see what are the facility they are giving through the internet. In an shopping site, when you say that it has come down, what are the other things that other website is doing? That is a part of your homework which you will be doing before you go and interact with the client, right? After understanding the business problem, then you will go back and do your own homework and come back to the thing. If you think that you want to do that and in the class itself we can do this exercise, we can do that also.
Okay, no, that makes sense. So if I understand you correctly, you're saying for this homework, and if it was in real life at a job, I would just go on to these different websites and I do research and compare what other competitors or what other companies were doing, and that's part of the research that you do as an analyst. No, I get that, and that would be fun.
Okay. But when you are writing but now you have done your part of your homework, right? But when you will be writing or you are sitting with a stakeholder to define the requirements, you say that, okay, start like this. Okay, this is a bank. I understand you have a problem. We can give this. As you say, the solution should provide the searching capability. What kind of capabilities do you want? Do you want to see only this balance detail credit card? We can give that option also if you want. Then they will say, okay, let's do this options as well, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So when I'm answering these, like after I do my research, I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, do you want me to just put it to the right of like business problems and then just put it to the right or like in this Excel form or this table? I mean, where do you want, you just want me to write it on there, right?
Yeah, you can do this business requirements, and each business requirement will have your system requirement as well, right? Give two columns here and write the system requirements, and if your business requirement say one, your system requirement also will be there, right? So do this column and try to do that. All right.
Okay.
If you are not comfortable in doing it in the Excel, you can do it in the Word, wherever you are comfortable.
Oh, no, not a problem. Like I said, the only reason why I was doing it the way I did it is because my mouse broke, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what else could go wrong? I was just trying to get it written, so you didn't think I was, I was trying to get my homework done.
Okay. Okay. So this is a part of your homework which you will be doing that. Now let's start our today's session.
Yeah, I'm planning on staying up late all tonight and get this done. Okay.
Oh. So now we will see in the requirement elicitation. What are the skills that you require for skills, and mostly what are the techniques we use for requirement elicitation, basically for gathering your requirements, right? What are the various techniques we have, and which techniques you can use based on your group of stakeholders, right? Requirement elicitation, but requirement gathering.
Is that, you said Rubik's, or what did you say?
Which one?
Did you say Rubik's?
No, I said it's a technique.
All right.
Techniques, yeah. Technique, basically various techniques which we use during our requirement gathering sessions based on the group of the stakeholders, right? So,
Okay.
what requirement elicitation? Yes, it is the core activity for a business analyst, right? What we do, we gather the requirements. Once we are done with the requirements, what it does, it serves as a foundation, and there we get to know what is our scope of the solution or the scope of the project, right? From where we should start and from where until where we should end, right? That basically gives you the scope of the project after you are done with your requirement elicitation or gathering sessions. Requirements, as we have gone before, as I told, right, it should be clear, complete and concise, right, which will help everyone to understand what exactly the requirement is, what exactly business want, or for whom we are serving, right. So what are the various techniques that we used are brainstorming, analysis of documents, reverse engineering, interview, observation, yes, we do, workshop, survey and questionnaire. Now, we will see, so skills, what are the skills required, right, for engage, see, when we as a business analyst work, while gathering the requirements, we work with the stakeholder, right. Now, we need to interview the stakeholder, right. We need to be, we always try to observe the stakeholders, right, how they are reacting to your questions, right. How you will understand if it's face to face, maybe these skills actually, the observation is very important, right, wherein if you observe the people, you would know how they are reacting, or whether they are getting your questions or not, or they are trying to answer your question or not, right? How they are reacting when you are in a room with them and discussing the requirement, right? Sometimes it will happen that For example, you have a group of 3 or 4 stakeholders and you are having a conversation with them for gathering the requirements. Out of 4, only 2 are speaking, 2 are not speaking, right? That things you have to observe. You try to ask them questions, see what kind of reaction it is, right? If they are not talking much, what do? You schedule a one-on-one with them, separate. Hey, I want to discuss this thing with you. Can you meet with 2 of us sometimes, right? It might be various reasons that among 4 they are not talking or they don't want to talk in front of those 2 people, right? That kind of observation you have to do, right?
And what is the reason that they wouldn't want to speak in front of the others?
That might be various reasons on them, right? They think that, okay, let them talk, they know better. I'm not, sometimes you never know what the relation among them also, right? They don't want to speak in front of them. It might be a reason, right? Or sometimes there is a problem that wherein people cannot speak when there are a lot of people around. Right? So if the person, what happens is when you meet the person actually in one-on-one, or it's only 2 of you, that person might tell you a lot of information, right? Or his point of view he might put in front of you, but he was not doing it when he is sitting with the other 5 person, right?
Right.
So that can be a question. See, there is a problem, right? Everybody don't speak or cannot speak everything in front of everyone, right? So we need to observe those, right?
Okay, so you observe, say for instance, if there's 4 people and one person just sits there, you wait till everyone exits and then you speak with the last person, or do you let everyone exit and then you go to that one person's office and ask them individually?
Yeah, so what you can once you are done with the session, you know, right, that okay, these 2 persons are not speaking. We don't do one. Again, in the second day when you went and talked to them, again you feel the same thing. Then what you can do, you can send a mail after your session is done, hey, I want to have a one-on-one with you, right? So send a mail, send a meeting invite, and then go and meet the person.
Okay.
And say, hey, I need this. Don't say that, oh, I observed that you were not talking, that's why I schedule one-on-one, right? Don't say that. I schedule one-on-one. I need some information on this requirement. Will you be able to help me out and see how his reaction is? Again, there will be an observation point for you. How is is that person opening up? Is that person giving you an example or an information? Right? If the person is saying you when you are schedule a one-on-one, that time you know, okay, that person will not talk in front of this person. Right? Because when the 4 person is sitting, you need to have the point of view of for all the other person as well, because you never know, he might be thinking from one point, he might be thinking from other point, which might be useful going on in future, right? Interviewing. When I say interview, it is not that interview that we take for a job, right? It is, when I say interview, it is like asking questions to them, right? Okay, this is the problem, why you are facing this problem, what do you really want to solve, what is going to be your success metrics, what is going to be your what do you think that we could put in the product is, what is your organization do, what is your goal, right? That kind of question, we call it as interviewing. It's not like you go for a job and you give the interview, right? Basically asking questions, right? That interview also you can do one-on-one also, even, right? Elicitation and assessing information. Elicitation is nothing but you gather the requirements, and assessing information is if it's an existing product and you are doing an enhancement, right? Say we already have a project in place and we want to add 2-3 features, or we want to add more requirements. What you do, you ask them for the existing product or project documentation, go through that, ask the information about the project, who developed it, why it was developed, right? So that kind of information we have to assess. At the same time, if it's a scratch, if the project is starting from the scratch, so what you do, you do your own homework before you go to the meeting, right? And if you think that you are not getting enough information, ask them for the information. I need this information before we start this sessions. Right? Facilitating the collaborative sessions, this comes when you are communicating your requirements in the requirements gathering sessions also, and at the same time after your business requirement portion is done and you are going to your IT stakeholders, you will facilitate the requirements and write the SRS, right? During requirement gathering sessions also, once you come up with the models, we work through the models to the stakeholders, right? That time you are facilitating and make sure that you are engaging everyone in your sessions.
So the model is what you designed or put together in Visio?
Yes, yes, yes. That we call as models.
Now, is there any other kind of models?
Any other kind of models means what kind of model? I use basically this model. There are sequence diagram. There are a lot of, when you go to Visio, you can see a lot of things which we as a business analyst don't do much on that. Yes, other model network architecture diagram is there, network diagram is there, which your different person who is having that role will do that. But as a business analyst, whatever the models that I showed, that is enough for you to understand, means for while doing the requirement gathering or facilitating your requirements.
Okay.
Right. Conflict resolution, yes, when the two person comes and they have, as I said, in a room, in a person, if you have dealing with 5 person, each person might have their own perception and they might come up with their own point of view, right? That's when a conflict start. I will say, hey, I don't need this feature, right? Why we don't think that will add any value. The other person will say, no, that will add a value, right? So that again is a conflict. Now that is another thing which we need to take care.
So what is your technique on the conflict resolution? How do you handle that? Okay.
Hello?
I'll stop recording while she's talking. Unlike other knowledge areas, requirements elicitation does not have any prescribed set of deliverables. Business analyst engages stakeholders to essential needs of the system. Skills are eliciting and assessing information.
Yes, so yeah, so when you have different point of view and difference in opinion, then only it's a conflict, right? Okay, I'm facing a conflict, and you should listen both of them and say, hey, okay, fine, I understand. Let's say we will see why, when you ask them why you think that you don't need a feature, why you think you need a feature, right? Why you are saying that it is not adding the value to our solution or your business need, right? We listen to those two persons. You are getting a conflict, you analyze, okay, if I take this, probably it will add me, and then you keep your point of view. Okay, I think if we take this thing, it will be better for me, not for me, better for the solution to have, or from a user perspective. Let's take that.
Okay.
Right. So these are various skills required when you are doing the requirement gathering sessions, right? Now, what are the knowledge, right? Elicitation and research approaches, yes. What are the elicitation approach that you should take? Are different techniques basically. Research is what, if you are to, as I said, right, if I'm I'm into banking, if I got a banking uh, project, I should know the various terms, various flows in the banking domain as well, right? That's what we call as business organization and domain knowledge, which help me to research, right? Effective techniques, elicitation techniques is nothing but what we are going to study. Okay.
Okay.
So now we'll see what are the techniques. Now we have brainstorming, we have document analysis, we have focus group, we have interface analysis, we have interview, we have observation, we have prototyping, we have a requirement workshop, we do reverse engineering, we do survey questionnaire, right?
Okay.
Now brainstorming. Brainstorming, what you do? It's best applicable basically if you have group of people who are your stakeholders. We all sit together, right? As I said, right, there will be a lot of options. If 5 people are sitting, everyone will have, if what the way you think will be different from the other person who is thinking the same thing, right? I will see an issue in from one angle, you will see an issue from another angle, right? Same thing happens when you apply in a group, right? So what we do, we take a topic. For example, when we go for requirement gathering sessions, once we know the business problem and our objective, when we try to define the requirements before that, for example, when they said, hey, we need an online shopping website or any online website, right? So what are the various, we took a topic as in what are the first feature that we should have, how our website should look like. I'm giving just an example, right? So one person will say, let's keep it very simple, right? If then other person will say, hey, let's give animated banner that will attract the user, right? So basically these are various functions that will come up and we try to apply our own idea, right? And also at the same time, if we sit and every will their own will apply their own idea and do the brainstorming. So and we as a business analyst, we write. Always remember, whenever you are getting, see, it happens that while doing the brainstorming session, people will be like so excited or as an aggravated, that might go into more of a conflict. You should know where to stop also. If you are thinking, if you see that the situation is going out of the control, that sessions right away, saying that, okay, I think we are done for the day, enough, let's take this session tomorrow because it's not going in the right direction, right? And then
Something you just said, if things are not going the right direction, is like maybe too much conflict, you just said, let's stop and start up tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay.
Because what happens when you are doing it in a group, right? It might be 5 to 6 people, and it happens, right? Sometimes, oh no, he is saying this. No, I'm not going to buy his idea, right? He will say, no, I'm not going to buy his idea. Why can't we do this, right? Which end up in a lot of conflict. So what we do, when you see, right? You will see, okay, the situation is going out of control, right? We don't want any mess in the brainstorming session. It's a session wherein we will sit and we should find a result of something which we are looking for, right? If that is not happening, if my agenda is not going to fulfill, stop that thing right away, right? Wrap up your, prepare for brainstorming. Yes, when you are going for brainstorming, make sure that you have agenda, you have in your mind what we are going to do today. Right. If we are focusing on a topic, make sure what topic you want to know, because it's we who need information, and we have to take out the information from the stakeholder, right?
Right.
Yeah. So prepare beforehand what a topic you are going to discuss, or a problem, right? And if it's a problem, what are the
couple things that you've experienced in the past?
Experience in the past, this is one of the things, as I said, that basically we end up in a lot of conflicts. So what I do basically, I said, okay, fine, thank you, boss. Let's have the session tomorrow. I think we are going much internally. We'll start fresh up tomorrow. Let's start that. I stopped it right away and say, okay, we are done for the day. We will meet tomorrow again, right? And then once I wrapped up, I sent a meeting note saying that this was our topic. This is what we have discussed. The remaining portion we'll discuss tomorrow. Right? Tomorrow I'm going to discuss this topic. Let's come prepared. Right? So that they all also will be prepared before coming to the room, saying that, okay, we know that this is what we are going to discuss. I know this topic. Let's have this.
Right? So I understand that portion, the soft skills, I guess you call it. But what I'm asking is, what are some specific, like, if you're building an app or something, or if you're building something online, or some kind of experience that you've had, what is something that they don't agree on? Like one would say, it's a waste of time to what? I mean, I'm just trying to get an idea. Like, like what's something you've worked on and someone would say, no, that's stupid, that's not going to build any value. And the other person would say, yes, I'm trying to get examples out of you.
Yeah, so that happens. So what I do generally, I listen to both of them, right? And I don't give my opinion right away, saying that, okay, I'm going to buy his idea, I'm not going to buy that idea, right? I will ask what happens is, in that case, if one person is saying, let's have this thing, as I said, right? One person will say, let's keep the website very simple, right? And one person was saying, no, I want an animated banner which will rotate in every 2 seconds, that will attract the users, right? So I will, then he was like, the other person was like, why do you want that rotating banner? It will take time. I don't think we should give that much effort in the login screen. That actually is true, right? We should not give. But at the same time, I need to make sure that, yes, if you give a rotating banner, that's a kind of advertisement from our for our product also, right? In the banner, we are not showing any movies or anything, right? But in the banner, we will show our product, which is the product we are selling, what is the upcoming product basically, right? And then I asked, okay, okay, I understand both of your point. You are saying that it will take a time to load. Then I would say no. Then and at the same time, you are saying that it will be. And if you're giving an animated banner, it looks good. Yes, actually, it's look good. But we need to find out if it takes time, right? Otherwise, I think rotating banner are good, because why? Then I have to convince that person when I'm saying that, okay, rotating banner is good, right? And I will say, why I think rotating banner is good, because we can put that in 3 seconds and we can show what the products we are selling. At the same time, it will be a kind of advertisement for our products or our company, right? And user will be seeing that. Instead of putting a one single image, that will show what are the upcoming product also we are coming or we are preparing. What do you think on that? But let's take a decision tomorrow. I will also see what are the good options, right?
Okay.
So that way. So in the brainstorming, if you are trying to focus on a problem, so you get an answer like what are the options are available to resolve the issue at hand, right? What are the factors that can constrain the work, right? What can be, if there is any delay, what is the problem that is causing a delay to our solution? So you get an answers like this when you do a brainstorm session.
So for example, you gave earlier this website is already in place, but they're wanting to make modifications to it.
Yeah.
So give me an example of something specific that you have done that would be a constraint on that. What are some constraints?
Constraint can be your technical constraint, right? When I say factors are constraining at work, it can be technical constraint, whatever the thing that they want to have a feature, but we have already added, we have already a website in place which the technology which we have used, we cannot do that, right? For example, in a mobile, from any website, especially in a mobile website, what happens is for our application is, when you are doing anything from the browser, you cannot attach anything from the browser, right? If you are doing any website, take an example of a website. So what
Wait a minute, you're on your mobile device. What do you mean? You can't take an attachment, or what are you saying?
you cannot open a camera and take a photo, right? From the browser, you cannot, when you're doing a website, you cannot take a photo from the website and attach it into your site.
You can't attach, like if I'm on my mobile phone, my smartphone, you're saying if I'm on a website,
Yes.
and they have some kind of attachment that it won't open up on my phone, is that what you're saying?
Yes, you cannot, from the browser, you cannot actually do a, what do you say, you cannot open the camera, take a picture and attach it. You can add any attachment, but you cannot open the camera, take a photo and attach it into your site, or you upload it, right? So that is then we already have a website in place, we developed, and then what happens, business came back to us and said, we need an option to do this. We need an option to allow the user to attach image. Then we said, since it's a website, it does not, why it does not do, from browser does not allow you to access the native features. Camera is a native features in the phone, which already comes built in, right? We cannot access that camera from the browser. If you want to do this, we should have gone for the mobile application. If it's an app, you can do it from the application. But if it's a website, you cannot do it. So that's a constraint for me, right? If you want that kind of features or requirements in a website, that is a technical constraint which we don't have any other solutions. It's a technical constraint and we can't go beyond that. That's it. That's it. What can be causing delay? Yes, if we are dependent on any other to get the requirements, infrastructure requirements, we need to have the, oh man.
Go ahead and answer it.
Yeah, so that what are the factors that can cause delay, right? If you are facing what is the problem, why are we dependent on anybody for the infrastructure? If we don't get infrastructure in time, probably it will cause a delay. So that kind of things that can delay, right?
Okay.
So this is the brainstorming sessions that we have. Then what are the strengths and what are the weakness, right? Everything has the strength and weakness. Yes, you get many ideas in a short period of time because everybody will sit and focus on the idea and get that thing right in the mind, because everybody, you will get a lot of ideas. When you're getting idea, you will also have a you will also get a way to think of those ideas also, right? In that brainstorm, nobody is judging anyone, right? It's just that you are giving your idea, or you give your judgments, thinking point of view. Out of the box thinking, yes, because I might think, oh, what will happen if I do this, right? Out of box thinking might happen, means you will get that also if the person is doing that, but sometimes we don't get that also. Weakness, yes, how involved the participants are, right? Dependent on your participants' creativity, how the participants are thinking, right? You are driving a brainstorming session. In order to get an idea, they have to think and give the ideas, right? The more that I think, the more idea I will get, right? The more, as I said, right, how deep I can think or how creative I can think, right? That will give you good idea. That again depends on the participants, how they think. So that is one of the weaknesses that we get if we have in our brainstorming sessions, right?
Yes.
Where is the next one? Yes. Next is document analysis. This is situations. Document analysis will not allow the technique, will not use this technique everywhere. It comes into the picture when we already have a project in place, and we are using our known project and we are adding the requirements. Basically, we are doing an enhancement, right?
So when
We are,
you say as in, I actually read this earlier when you sent it the other day. So when you, and I think I asked, as is environment, is that saying that it's an already existing environment?
yes, yes.
Okay. And you said document analysis is only used when it's in something already exists. Is that what you're
Correct.
saying?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
because why we, if it's when it's an existing project, so you, when it was developed, you are not in picture, right? Now with the enhancement, you have been hired as a PA. Now how will you know what is the existing project, what are the different requirements that we already have in the past release, right? What are the things that, what are basically the requirements, what are the project objective from which it had started. So what we do, we go and ask them for the document and then, okay, you already have your existing project in place, that means you already have all the documents, right? Can you give me the documents so that I analyze before we go into requirement, before we go and jump into getting the requirements or writing the requirements. So we do see the requirement, take the document, and we analyze the document. We gather in a room or you in a meeting over the call, and you will have questions, obviously, right? So you go try to clarify your doubts, right? So that's what we do.
Okay.
So again, it has strength, right? Again, we have the existing material to confirm the requirements. We know what are the requirements, is already an existing project. So you need not to do a what you say, the more feasibility study, as in we do a homework what other competitors are doing, or what other person has done for the same website or in the same domain. So you already have it in place, just that you need to see where your requirements fit in, right?
Now, most of the time when there's something already existing and I want you to go back and modify it, is it because they found errors, or is it because there's new technology and they'd like to add the new technology?
No, we don't add new technology. We all see when it's an existing product, if it's a product which has been developed, it's already done in one of the technology. You cannot go and suddenly change the technology, right? What it comes in an enhancement based on the user feedback, or if the business do their own analysis also, right? Once you give your website and say, hey, it's already there and users are using it, right? So what they do, they go and analyze, okay, what are the users facing a problem, if any problem users are facing, or how can we improve more from an improvement point of view. If we add this, our usability will improve, right? Our user experience will improve. That from that object, your new enhancement comes. And as you said, if it's an error, it will be coming as a bug and you have to fix it. It's a defect, right? Yeah. When I say error.
So for example, if the customer is a user of, not internal user but the external, if for example, say if they're doing stuff on the website and they start to generate a lot of errors, and then it comes back to the company, and they say, look, we're getting way too many errors. We need to make changes, and then that's when you come on the scene, or that's when they hire you.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's what we do in a document. That time yes, if that is a case when you hire, that time you need a document, right, to analyze before what is done till now, right? Seeing a website, you don't know, right? If you don't know what exactly was the requirement, how it was implemented, that time you have to go and analyze the requirements.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the various techniques. So this has strength, this is also weakness, right? Limited to as-is perspective, right? Existing document, the main problem we see is what happens, I might have written a version 1 of my document, after that there are 10 changes that happens, but if the previous BA or the person who was handling or managing the requirements has not updated the requirement, then that is a problem for you. right?
Okay.
Can be time consuming, yes, it is a little bit of time consuming because you have to go through the document and then you have to ask the people to explain you the things which you will not know. So again, it's a kind of a tedious process and time consuming. Where is the document file?
How do you pick out the person or persons that are good to go to and ask that? I mean, I sent you a little thing that I researched, and I sent you on that one sheet. And I didn't know, I didn't see your comment on that, so I didn't know if you totally agreed or if there were more of things that you would add or what. So how do you pick out? So a lot of the things as a business analyst are the people skills and knowing just how to word things and approach people in the best way. So how are you, if you step into something that already exists, who do you talk to and how do you know that they're going to I don't want to use the word smart enough, but sometimes you go to people and they don't know what the heck they're talking about. And other people are really smart and they know exactly what's going on. How do you know who is a good resource and who is a bad resource?
See, if it's in the same company that you have been working, you know, right? But if it's a new company you don't know, so what we go in the document, you'll have the stakeholder list, right? Who is your project dev lead, who is your architect, who is a business analyst before. You go and approach them. Hey, you have done this project. In the document, it is your name. Can you explain me this feature or this requirements?
I understand you correctly. If they're a stakeholder, should know, they wouldn't give you bad information. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So that is. So Dave, I need to stop because I need to rush to office. Then we'll start with the focus tomorrow. Is that okay? Okay, Debbie. I already sent you the document, right?
Right, that's why I said I read this before, and it really helped when you sent this in advance, and I appreciate that. Because it made it a lot more easier for me to understand because it's the second time I'm viewing it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good day at work.
Okay, thank you. You have a nice sleep. Bye.
Okay, bye.